And we're going to start with the toes going up and down. So just sitting comfortably, your legs are at 90. You're not completely at the back of the chair, but we're going to move a little bit in a moment anyway. And you might even want to be a little bit forward so your foot can creep forwards in a moment. I'm going to go at a bit of an angle so you can see my feet at different angles. So lifting your toes up and down. And if you can fan and spread your toes out, that's like a sort of bonus, really. And as you press them down, starting as you take them down, your toes that is, starting to press them down like you're trying to press them into wet sand. And you're trying to get toe prints of your individual toes. Now, if you watch your toes, you'll find all sorts of funky things happening, like your big toe might be crossing over and touching the other toe, or you might have a toe going out to the side or not really coming up off the floor. And you can always take your fingers down if that's accessible to you, if you can get down that far, and give them a little manual encouragement, shall we call it. Especially those rogue toes. My little toe on one side is just not coming up, sort of sticking downwards. Toes are funny things. And then choose one foot, and we're going to creep forward like a caterpillar. So you lift your toes, and then it's like you're trying to sort of snake forwards and pull your foot forwards. Now, you might have done this before with a towel scrunched up, and you're trying to sort of grab the towel and scrunch it up. It does work well with that. But we're just trying to take it forwards and then backwards. And as you do it, you get a long foot and then a sort of short foot. And just a little bit more on that one side. And this is so when we come to do more pressure through our feet later, hopefully it's going to give us better balance. And then the other foot, you might want to give it a few ups and downs with the toes first. And then starting that creeping forwards. So it's caterpillar toes and caterpillar feet. And then seeing if you can get it to creep back. You might find it gets stuck at certain places. It sort of just sticks in the arch shape and it's really slow to stretch out again. Last travel with that one. Everyone's always so quiet when we do footwork.
I have to look at my toes to make them do it. I've got to
all the focus and concentrate. I can see you all going, come on. And then let your legs just have a little time off. We're going to take the ball next. And this is when you might need a towel if you know that you can't hold your head like that. So I'm going to show you where to place the ball. It's basically as high up as you can get it on the chair back, as high up as you possibly can, and it's going to vary according to how high your chair is. The aim is that it's at that bumpy bone where your cervical spine starts, but my chair doesn't go up that high, so I can't get that high. So just go as high as you can without it popping out. And we're going to need to lean back a little bit, so it needs to be sort of tucked in enough that you know it's not going to suddenly pop out. Then either take your hands so that your thumb, I'm just turning so you can see my thumb's right at the back of my head, just taking up the spine a little so you can get a little pull upwards, and my hands around my head, elbows forwards, not elbows out. So elbows are definitely forwards. If you've got the towel instead or a scarf, wrap it round your neck and it's slightly up, so it's at that same place where your thumbs would be, just at the base of your skull. Your face is going to be a bit like you're wearing a scarf for winter. And so you can pull slightly upwards. So either position. Now we're going to lean back slightly, but you don't want your front ribs to jut forward. So just notice where they are in your t-shirt. You don't want them to push like that at all, but you want to take your head and your spine slowly backwards and then to upright. And you can try it a couple of times. You don't need to hold it, you're just seeing how it feels. It's the first one. So just see what it's like and note what your rest of your back is doing. Is it wanting to push forwards? You're trying to keep that bit where it is, that part that's against the ball. So we are going into a little bit of a back bend, but it's in the thoracic spine. That's the bit beneath our next part of the spine, the cervical spine. And then rest your arms down and sneak the ball down just a little bit. Same thing. So if I was cradling, I'd have my heads there. It's almost like you're, have my head there, have my thumbs there. It's almost like you're pulling your head upwards first before you lean back, so it doesn't scrunch like that, it keeps long. Pointy bits of your elbows forwards, lifting up and then letting it go a little bit back, and then upright 2 or 3 times. And then rest your arms down. We're going for another one. So sneak it down. Now, probably around the sort of bra strappy sort of area, around the shoulder blade, sort of in between or just below. Same again. So either your towel or your hands supporting right at the very back of your head and lifting up a little and then leaning back. But watch those front ribs, because we're lower down and they're going to want to stick forwards. And coming to upright 2 or 3 times. Arms down. Lovely. Last one. So now it's around that, maybe a little below the bra strap. That's about as low as we need to go on this one. Same thing again, so hold your head, use your towel, whichever you prefer. Feel that little lift up first, and then that lean back, but just watch those front ribs. And come to upright, and a couple of times more. I'm just going to have a little look as you do it. That's it, make sure those elbows point forwards. That's it, lovely. And then let your arms go down. And just have a nice little wriggle against the ball. So that's just a way to get a back bend with support for your head, because it's a direction of the spine that's quite difficult to get into, particularly if you don't, if you're not able to do things on your front, you know, when we lift the head and chest up. That's one way into doing it instead of using the ball. You don't need the ball for anything else now. So, oh, actually, yes, we do. One more thing. Sorry. Behind your back here, behind that little dip into your back, pelvic tilts into the ball, then we don't need it. So sitting with it behind that little curve into your back, hands on your knees, and your arms are straight or straightish. Grow a little taller, so you're right up on your sitting bones. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, leave your hands where they are, take your waistband back into the ball, feel the pressure on it, and then rock forwards and take the pressure off. Rocking back and pulling your waistband back towards the ball, and then coming forwards, coming away from the ball. So going back with your exhale, forwards with your inhale. Now the arms are extended to stop the rest of our back moving. We're just isolating into that one section and keeping our spines nice and long. That's it. And maybe a couple more. And then you can take the ball out. The ball is done. Definitely done this time. Now we're going to do some side bends. You can do these seated or you can do them standing. It's completely up to you. So whichever is your preference, but we're going to add some weight and we're going to do it to one side. Now I've hurt my shoulder on this side. and it's fine on this side. So I'm going to do my good side first. And I know I can take one of each of my weights, and they've got sort of handles and bits that I can hold. And I'm just going to sort of stack up a little selection, almost like I'm carrying a bag, because I know I can on that side. The other side I'm going to do completely differently, but we're only going to do one side at a time. So that's how I'm going to do this side. You load that side. It could be weights, it could be a bag that you hold here. Probably not a wash basket. Grow tall, and then you're just going to let that weight just dip you down a little and then pull it up tall. Dip it down a little, pull it up tall. Now, if you're seated, I want you to keep both bum cheeks. Imagine there's a pocket under each bottom, and you're going to keep both pockets down as you lean over and then go up tall. If you're standing, I want you to keep equal weight on both feet. So you stand. I'm just going to change the camera a little bit. So you're standing equal between those 2 feet. Keep it on this opposite foot's going to want to sort of lift up a little. Keep that weight down as you lean over to the other side and come upright. Maybe a couple more. So we're doing this for a side bend, but we're doing it also for a bit of side strength. Last one. And then put your weights down and think, what does the other side need? So what's going on with the other side? Are you going to go the same or are you going to go different? So I'm just going for one weight on the other side. And the same thing applies. Either you're keeping the balance between both feet, or you're keeping both butt cheeks down, exactly the same. So if there was a pocket underneath, both pockets stay down. That little lean over and then upright. Lean and upright. 2 or 3 more times, coming up really tall each time. That's it. And then place your weights down and just have a moment's rest. Because remember, we're in a weighty class, we're going to do sets and repetitions and all that sort of thing. Not any more side bends though, that's enough of those. Right, let me just get this screen upright. Next, I'm going to use weights. And we're going to do lateral raises out to the side. So think what your shoulders are like. Do they need different things each side? I'm going to have a big weight on one side and a little weight on the other side. I know I find these hard. And you can do these seated, so you can do them like this, or you can do them standing. Completely up to you. So we're going to do 8. So take a breath in, and as you breathe out, slowly bring your arms out as high as you can manage. It doesn't have to be out to a T. Oh, that's about my full one. And then slowly, slowly down. And then we're going up again. Now, I've said 8. You don't have to do 8. If you're on a 4 sort of a day, go for a 4 sort of a day. And you don't have to keep at the same pace. You can go differently. You can also, I'm going to do it after this next one, don't even have to do both arms together. You might do one arm and then the other arm. It just takes twice as long, which is a bit of a pain, but it means you can really adapt it for different sides. Now, I've lost count, but I think you're probably on about 6.
Yeah.
6. God, that was a good guess. Just going by instinct. And this is your last one if you're still going. And then the weights are going down. I can't wait to put those ones down. Oh. And just easing it off, having a drink, whatever you need to do. Cannot get my camera right today. Right, we're going back to the weights. So what do you need this time? Same again. Maybe it's different. Maybe that felt like too much. Maybe it felt too easy. But you don't have to make it the heaviest you've ever done in this session. You can always do that in the recording. I'm just going same again. We're going to go just as we did, breath in, breathing out, lifting them at the sides, breathing in, slowly taking them down, that control. What you can do is lift them up a little faster on the exhale, and then keep it slow on the descent. That's 2. Beautiful. I think that's 4. Now at this point, it starts to feel like you're almost near the end. Now you're all going to know in yourselves how close you are to that point. If it feels like you could only do 1 more, just do 1 more. If you can do 2 more, do 2 more. But once you get to that point where it feels like, I don't know if I can do another one, that's the point to stop. So that, I can feel it there. I don't want to do another one. Now, if you're doing that at home and you think, actually, I could do 2 more, you might do 10. If you think you could do, actually, I could do about 10 more, the weight's not heavy enough. You only need to do between maybe 8 and 12, and maybe 2 or 3 sets of those. You don't need to do 30 and be flapping like that. Right, the next thing is going to be pushing upwards. For this one, I personally prefer seated because I tend to sort of wobble around quite a lot standing. And I'm going to do a different weight for each side because I know that my shoulders are a bit funky at the moment. When you're doing this in the chair, you can sit almost back to your chair because it will give you a little bit of feedback. You can also do it against a wall because it stops your arms then swinging backwards. So if you know your arms have a tendency to sort of fall back behind you, that can work well. Donna, that's a great chair for doing it on because it's got such a nice long back. So really lean into it and use it to help give you a bit of feedback. Weights go to your shoulders. Now, Suzanne, you might just go that far. You don't have to fully extend your arm. Yeah. You're pushing upwards. How far upwards is up to you. And then taking it down. You can even let them touch your shoulders. It's quite nice for the weights to know where the shoulders are. And then pushing up. And down. Now, if it feels like too much, it might be you just do a little push like that. That's fine. That's it. So we're about 4, and we're going to go for 8. But you know how it is, just like with the others, you don't have to do 8. And 8 is coming up if you're still going. And then take them down to the floor and just have a moment with nice light spaghetti arms. Oh, that's nice. After we've done this one, we're going to go to legs and the arms get a bit of a rest. Right, let's finish it off and do another set. So bringing them quite close to your chest, maybe balancing on your shoulders. I'm going to go a bit asymmetric, so one arm's going higher than the other. Go for what feels right for you. Pushing upwards and then slowly taking them down. Pushing. It may be you just holding them is enough, just holding them there. That's it. So halfway. So that's 6. It might be you've had enough. It might be you've got 2 more. Oh, that's definitely enough. Oh, just give your weights a rest, your arms a rest. And now just think where your weights are, because we're going to go into different sitting to stand, and you don't want to be falling over your weights. So if you need to move them out of the way a little bit, you can move them out of the way. We're going to take it to a chair so that we can do sit to stand, that sort of move, in different stages. And this is going to really vary what you do depending on all the different things going on for you. So you can start with sliding your feet back a little bit, holding the sides, and just hinging forwards and backwards. You can try a little bit of that, feeling the weight just tip into your feet. Also have the hands on the fronts of the thighs, another place. Just think where your arms like to go when you naturally stand up. You can also take one foot forwards and the other back and see how that feels. It may be that's the way you normally get up. And the other side, you may have a good side and then the other side that you never use that side. And then we're going to take it to different ways of lifting upwards. So it might be you're just going to hover your bum and take it down, both feet, or 1 foot back, 1 foot forwards. It might be you want to come higher and then slowly settle down. I like mine with 1 foot forwards, 1 foot back. But you've got to go into what's best for you, and you can mix it up or you can go for your faithful. I also quite like the I'm going to sit down, oh no, I'm going to stand up again, because that really works you along the back. A lot of bang for your buck there. I'm liking the arms going forwards as well, a bit of momentum. And last one, and you may want to stay standing on this one. Have a little walk. Just move your feet around. You can use your chair for a bit of support if you want to, or you can do this next bit seated. We're going to go into some heel raises and then some drops down. So we can go up onto the front of our feet and just hold it there, and then drop down and make it quite a impacty sort of drop. Or if you don't like those sorts of impacty drops, just stick with the more gentle up and down. You can try one leg and see what that's like. You don't need to go up very high, just being on one leg and trying to lift up that heel a little and then down really works your leg, really works the calf. And great weight bearing going through your leg and through your hip and your foot. Don't forget the other side. Bless you. So we're just getting our balance practice in here. Well done. And then you can either keep with your drops, you can stamp, you might do your little jumps if you like a little jump. I quite like the sort of drum roll with my feet. Anything where you're putting some impact through the lower half of your body. And then rest for a moment. You might want a drink. Next part, you can do seated or standing. So if you're standing, having your hands just resting over something can be quite nice. Just sending your bum forwards and backwards. The legs can bend a little bit, but they don't have to. We're just getting that hip hinge. And if you're seated, having your hands at the front of your legs and hinging forwards and back, feeling the weight press down to the ground. You can take your hands to your chest and push yourself up. This is warming ourselves up towards the lifting, whatever mystery item we're lifting up. That's it. And then have a break. Now we need our box or our basket, and let's start with it empty. And place it down on the ground. Take your legs a bit wider, so mine about shoulder width. Your feet can be forwards or outwards. And you could be doing this sitting as well, because it might be you've got to pick something up when you're seated, so you can do it that way as well. We're not going to lift it, we're just going to touch the bit that you're going to hold to lift it up. So we're having like a trial run. Take your bum back. If you are standing, the aim is your calves stay quite vertical. And let your bum go back so you can hinge, so you can touch the sides and just think, okay, I know where I'm going now. And now stand up or sit up. And let's do 2 or 3 of those. It's like a little practice run. That's it. And think, are my legs okay? Do they need to go wider? Does it all feel all right? On the next one, we're going to lift it. So we're going to take the highest handles that we can and lift it up and take it down. And just a few like that, just 2 or 3, just getting used to that. And now I want you to put something in it if you're happy to do that. So you don't have to go crazy, just put something in it. I'm going to put a towel and a couple of my lighter weights in it, the sort of couple of kilograms or so, and just see what that one's like. You don't have to lift it very high. If it feels too heavy, you can always take things out. Same again. That's it. Beautiful. Suzanne, I absolutely love your adaptations. That's it. Just seeing how that feels. If you want to add to it, I'm not going to today. My shoulder's too sore. So that sort of day. Different day, I put more in it. So if you can add or take up, this is a great way to see how you go over a few weeks, what you can manage. And we'll make this one the last one. Bravo, everybody, really nicely done. Right, that all goes to the side. Don't need that anymore. No more weights. We're going to take ourselves to either sitting on your mat or sitting on your bed. Could even be a sofa if you want to do it on a sofa.
Can I do it sat on the chair?
You need something to lift so you can lean on the side. So if you've got a table
right
next to a chair that you could lean onto the side, you could do it. Does that make sense?
Right, I can't sit on the floor, but will we be lying on the floor?
Well, for this one, have you got a sofa?
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the sofa and sit on the sofa. What I want us to do is to be able to lean to the side and put some weight to the side. So I don't mind how your legs are. I want you to imagine it's almost like you've got on the floor and you can't get yourself up. And we're going to lean to the side.
That never happens, right?
Exactly. So just try it. Now, I know we've all got shoulder and wrist issues, and you know, our bodies aren't huge fans of this, but you also know that if we don't do it, we won't ever have that strength. No. So it's putting yourself out of your comfort zone. You could bring your legs to the side and sort of bring yourself down and push yourself up. I'm picking this side because the other side really doesn't want it today. But that option is just a really good way. And this is, it's just starting to put some strength through this side in a gentle way. It would be a gradual sort of building of this. If this is happy, now this is only for maybe some of you here, maybe nobody. I'm now more in a side lying position like we'd be in a class. I'm going to take it down so I've got my forearm here. Now, if you don't like this, carry on with doing what we were doing before and just taking yourself maybe a little further and pushing yourself up, keep it going. But if you're comfortable like this, first pull your waist away from the mat. You can have your hand on your waist and just lift it and pull yourself away from it. That's it. And then that might be enough. Your shoulder might have had enough, your arm might have had enough, and you're back to this sort of up and down. The other place that you can go with this, and this might be something you do when you watch the recording another time and not today, is to leave your arm down. You've got your hips and your feet down. You press your feet down to the floor. We're going to press our knees together and float the hips up and down, up and down. Now, if you haven't done these for a long time or ever, you might only need 3 or 4, and that will be enough today. It's a gradual builder. I find this sort of stuff really hard on my side because shoulders and wrists. If you want
Kerry,
yeah,
I found the stuff where you're just like resting on your arm and going up and down easier than the moving my arm around stuff.
easier than doing this?
Yeah,
Yeah, I get that because this is quite sort of, it's not as controlled.
it's all through here.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
go for these instead and get the strength through this way.
Yeah.
Because you could also start to lift that arm up like that, and you can lengthen the top leg and lift like that. There's lots of little steps. So it's basically little side planks. That's all that stuff we were doing was all sort of side plank prep. So I feel we've had enough of side planks now. Now it's the lying down bit. I think we've just got time. Yeah, we've got time to do this bit. So lying down, and you need your resistance band with you. You might put a cushion on your hand to your head, but we're going to do bridges. So we'll be sliding it away. Now, the first position we go into, have your legs long before we go into a bridge. So you're like a big long line. And start to pump your feet up and down. You can do 1 foot at a time. It does tend to ease your socks off. And this is just a way to lengthen your spine a little bit. Just makes you a little bit longer and encourages your spine to stretch out. You might feel your head bobbing up and down the mat a little bit. And then slide the feet back towards you so your legs are bent. And now we're going to take a band, place it loosely across. You're not going to use it yet, just have it loosely over you, and then your arms can be down over the sides of it. We're just going to take up into a low bridge first without the resistance. So take a breath, and as you breathe out, let your waistband sink down. Let your bum start to tilt up and push into your feet. And as soon as you feel your bum start to hover, now press your feet down and lift your hips up. And then drip it back down. So you all know the bridge really, really well. We'll do one more like that. So take your breath in. Feel your waistband tilting back, leaning back into your mat. Your bum starts to hover, and then lift up. And just hold it there. And then drip down. Now take the band, and it's going in the hip crease. You want a bit of tension. I find that my hands and the band, it doesn't like completely reach the floor. It doesn't matter. You just want to feel as you lift that you've got a bit of resistance against your hips lifting up. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, get ready. Take the waistband back. Feel your bums just tilted up. Now lift those hips, and you're going up against the band. You might need to adjust. And then drip down. Beautiful. We're going to go up again. So tilt back first, starting to hover your bum, and then lift it up. That's it. And drip down. I think the hardest thing with this is holding the blooming band.
Definitely.
It's really awkward. Sometimes these sorts of bands, which are sort of firmer, are a bit easier to hold because I think the grip is easier on them. 2 or 3 more of these, if that's okay with you. And after the next one, we'll take the band off. Band is done. Take your arms out to a T shape and take your legs wide. We're going to let one knee dip inwards and that inside leg is heavy. And then let that knee come up towards the ceiling. And then the other knee dips inward, let it be heavy. And then up towards the ceiling. And let your knees take it in turns to dip in and then come up, dip in and come up. That's it, one more. And then heel toe your feet towards each other. Slide your legs away so they're long. And you can either stretch your arms out to the sides. You might stretch them above your head if that's comfortable for you. I'm going to do one arm, I think, today. Reach that away. Or you could stretch out like a star if you'd rather, with your legs wide and your arms going outwards. And just take a breath in and expand into whichever shape you've chosen. And as you breathe out, let everything soften and melt. Breathe in, lengthen each limb, your arms, your legs, into whatever shape you're making. And then breathing out, let it melt. One more. Breathing in and stretch. And melting as you breathe out. Bring your feet towards you so your legs are bent. And roll yourself onto your side and push yourself up. Or you can, if you'd rather roll yourself the other way to bring yourself to seated, you can do. And then just sitting comfortably for a moment, taking your arms out to the side, scoop up the air, bring your hands ahead of you, high up in front and into your chest. Give yourselves a clap, stroke your muscles. Well done, everybody. Recording will